Everyone in our community is just breaking down about this, and we want to make sure that we're here for her to support her.
Right now at 5, day 2 in the search for Elliott Hines. What we now know. Plus, remembering a rock legend. Ozzy Osbourne dies at age 76. The reaction and his lacrosse connection.
Watching WKBT Lacrosse. This is News 8 Now at 5.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for News 8 Now at 5. I'm Emily Brown. Ken is on assignment. The search for Elliott Hines intensifying today and a new message from the missing woman's family. News 8 Now's Grace Monk is live near Houska Park. Grace, what do we know?
Law enforcement continued their search today along the Mississippi River. The search mostly took place on shoreline starting at Front Street and traveling south along Houska Park. Elliott Hines was last seen walking on the 500 block of Front Street. Today, Hines' family thanking the community, saying, quote, "The outpouring of support into the search for Elliott has been overwhelming, and we are deeply grateful for the kindness, prayers, and encouragement from the community and beyond." One person that's helping with the search says he traveled 3 hours to get here.
I just hope Elliott's out there fighting her battle and making sure that she stays there and knows that there's people out there searching. So that's why I'm here.
Hines is 5'4" with blonde hair and blue eyes. She was last seen early Sunday morning wearing a gray t-shirt and jeans shorts. Law enforcement wrapped up their search out here around 4 p.m. and there's no word on when they will return. Volunteer searches have also concluded for the day. Reporting in La Crosse, Grace Monk, News 8 Now.
All right, thank you, Grace. And a Venmo donation link has been started to support the family. You can find that link on our website. Well, breaking news out of the music world, Ozzy Osbourne, the legendary Prince of Darkness, has died. His death comes more than 5 years after he announced his Parkinson's disease diagnosis. CBS's Jared Hill has more on his life and music legacy.
Ozzy Osbourne rose to fame in the 1970s as the lead singer of Black Sabbath, pioneering heavy metal music along the way. The band's music became a symbol of devil-worshipping and Satanism, though Ozzy, born John Michael Osbourne, said he was a member of the Church of England. The Crazy Train singer was known for his crazy antics on stage. He once bit the head off a bat, though admitted he thought it wasn't real, and later was fired from the band due to problems with drugs and alcohol. But Osbourne had a successful solo career and did reunite with Black Sabbath several times over the years.
I've been saying I won't retire. I'll never retire. I'll be always doing something new. It's what I'm here for.
Younger fans may have been introduced to the Prince of Darkness as the first celebrity dad of reality TV, when he and his wife Sharon and 2 of their 3 children starred on MTV's The Osbournes in the early 2000s. In 2019, Ozzy was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease and lost his ability to walk, which forced the rocker to cancel a tour. Ozzy did, though, give fans one last thrill, reuniting with Black Sabbath earlier this month for what he called his final live performance. It was a charity concert in his hometown of Birmingham, England.
And I sobbed the whole way through because he's legend.
In a statement, Osbourne's family said he was with his family and surrounded by love when he died. Jared Hill, CBS News.
And one more note, Osbourne performed at the La Crosse Center on January 12th, 1982. It was part of his Diary of a Madman tour. Authorities seized a large cache of guns and drugs in Eau Claire. Resident Sean Fillmore was arrested at the scene. Authorities found 17 guns and over 600 grams of drugs with an estimated street value of over $13,000. Fillmore now faces 25 felony charges. The man accused of killing a Dunn County correctional officer on Christmas Eve is bound over for trial. Mark Solosky allegedly failed to stop at a sign and struck Jeff Reynolds' car. Reynolds was pronounced dead at the scene. A preliminary test showed Solowski's blood alcohol level at 0.152. His sentencing is set for September 24th. The Winona County Emergency Response Team is conducting a training exercise. The exercise is taking place at the Cotter School campus from 2 to 10 p.m. Now, there may be a significant law enforcement presence in the area. This is a scheduled exercise to prepare for emergencies, so there is no need for concern. A travel alert: the main bridge to Isle La Plume is now closed. Hood Street is shut down from Norplex Drive to Marco Road through Friday. The reason: street reconstruction. To get to the island, use the Cook Street Bridge at the south end. Folks in Eau Claire have a new way to get around. They can use the Northern Light Ride Service app. The service runs between several popular locations. It's available from 6:45 a.m. to 6:45 p.m. Trips cost $1.75 for adults, $1.25 for students, and 85 cents for seniors. La Crosse kayakers have a new place to launch. It's at the 7th Street Boat Landing. Rentals will be available from 12 to 8 p.m.
Used to be over on the south end, and it was just like a cleared out spot where you could launch your kayaks. Well, we decided we would upgrade so you can use this gangway. It's a little easier to get in and out of your kayaks.
There are also new kayak rentals at Copeland Park. Well, a warm and muggy Tuesday we're having here, Greg. No need to use the hot tools because they're not going to work. Everything's just going to fall down. It's that humid.
It is definitely humid today. The good news is we did have some cloud cover that kept the temperatures fairly good, not too hot yet, but that'll definitely change here because overall we're still in the mid 80s, but the cloud cover has helped to keep those temperatures down. Now overall that's our high temperatures, and really not far from average the high temperature was, minus Red Wing because they had a little bit more sunshine, but the humidity dew point came up, so it made it feel a little bit more muggier, so that heat index is now into the low 90s, so that's the difference here that's going on. Overall, if you look at satellite, we have a lot of cloud cover overhead, just development here and there, just daytime heating. So far, not in the way of much showers out there. We're still kind of not quite unstable. The one thing to keep in note, we have a warm front coming north, and you see that spin in Iowa. That's the one that we're going to be tracking here for some showers, potentially thunderstorms overnight time, along with everything to the west. That's probably got another about 24 hours to get here. So this evening should be fairly quiet, but muggy. Maybe a slight chance we get closer to 10 p.m. as you look at for Eau Claire too. Muggy conditions, heat and sea will finally get down in the mid 80s, but it's not going to see a big drop in temperatures, and that's going to be the big thing tonight. We might see some record lows tonight for being so warm. We might not barely get below 78, is actually tying the one for La Crosse. So it's going to be very muggy. We'll kind of break down what it looks like for Wednesday, which is hot and humid, but we also have a lot of storm chances in between too. So it's going to be a busy day through about Wednesday and then eventually Thursday, and we'll break all that down a bit later.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Greg. And in between newscasts, you can track weather with the First Warn Weather app. It's in the App Store or on Google Play. Happening around the state, Representative Tom Tiffany is reportedly considering a run for governor in 2026. That's according to the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. The Republican hinting at a run by securing the web domain TomTiffanyForGovernor.com. Washington County Executive Josh Schuman and businessman Bill Berrien are already in the race. EAA AirVenture is happening in Oshkosh this week. People can get an up-close look at nearly 10,000 different aircraft. The event temporarily makes Whitman Regional Airport's control tower the busiest in the world. Fun fact. 40 boys and girls from La Crosse left for D.C. today. They're from the Terry Erickson Boys and Girls Club. Herb Cole Philanthropies is funding the 4-day trip. For many of these young people, it's their first opportunity to our nation's capital.
To hang out with the members, but also really get to be where people were making history, and we get to see where all of the decisions are made for our country and get to tour around. So this is a lot of these kids' first big trip like this, and it's a privilege to be able to go on it with them.
The kids will visit the Smithsonian, the U.S. Capitol, and other monuments. Still to come, President Trump's latest trade deal and why he's accusing Barack Obama of treason. Plus, Target is changing one of its biggest customer perks. Up next. A wild Oval Office moment at the White House today. President Trump hosting the president of the Philippines. The men agreeing on a new tariff deal. Trump then pivoting to attack former President Barack Obama, blaming him for what he's called for years the Russia hoax.
He's guilty. This was treason. This was every word you can think of. They tried to steal the election.
And on Capitol Hill, new action on the Jeffrey Epstein files. House Speaker Mike Johnson won't call on the White House to release more files before the August recess. Activists are in the Everglades calling for the shutdown of Alligator Alcatraz. They say conditions are inhumane. Reports say detainees are often treated harshly by guards, and food and water are substandard. The demonstrators also rallied against the name the Trump administration has given the facility.
Alligator Alcatraz was designed to be a joke. Is this a joke? No. Yeah. Is this a joke? No. To mock the very real suffering of migrants, to strip up fear, to stir up fear, and to turn human rights violations into campaign slogans.
I don't know.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis told reporters the claims are exaggerated and the facility meets standards required by law. Coca-Cola is releasing a new version of its soda. It will contain U.S. cane sugar. The new version will hit store shelves later this year. President Trump recently urged Coke to use a U.S. sweetener in its American version of Coke. Well, Target is ending its price matching with Amazon and Walmart. It starts on Monday. A Target rep says the chain will only match its own in-store and online prices at Target.com if the price drops within 14 days. We'll have more news ahead, but first.
Yeah, we definitely have storms in the forecast, but the big story for Wednesday is probably that humidity with heat indices above 100. We'll kind of break down what the temperatures look like, when the storms will happen, and when we'll finally actually cool off a little bit. All that coming up on your First Warn Weather Update after the break.
The news continues on News 8 Now. Expect more.
The Earth is spinning faster than normal, making some days shorter. July 10th was the shortest day of the year so far, but the difference is within milliseconds of Earth's average, so you won't notice any changes. Experts say many things could be causing the faster days, like the moon's pull. Well, let's hope these humid days quickly speed up, and because we're ready for some refreshing temps, let's send it over to Greg for the details on that.
Yeah, the good news is this heat wave, or you not even kind of call it a heat wave, it's going to last not that long, but we're not going to see a completely change in the atmosphere probably until the middle part of next week. But all in all, Wednesday definitely is going to be the hottest day. We'll start seeing the temperatures and the dew points kind of fall a little bit through the weekend, but still you're going to see your typical July type humidity in the afternoon and temperatures. For tonight, it's really watching that complex develop towards Iowa that's going to be spinning up towards our area. There's a little bit of timing difference in exactly when this will happen, but it should remain dry throughout the evening. Here's that activity well southwest of Decorah. Eventually it'll spin up. We might see a little bit of shower activity come through about 10 to maybe about 1 to 2 in the morning for some areas as this kind of lifts north. There's also a little bit of activity up there, but watch as this develops further late at night. Also notice the temperatures here. We're still at 80 degrees at midnight too. That's going to be the other big story tonight. Very warm, very muggy atmosphere out there. You'll see that development further there. That activity begins to push closer to the area. That's the one complex that we'll have to keep an eye on that could come through here maybe about 4 to maybe 8 a.m. for showers and thunderstorms that could go as far north, maybe as far north as a little bit farther than I-90. We'll see how far it does. It will persist through the morning hour time frame, so it could be a wet morning commute for areas south of I-90. There's more activity coming through. It's all with this warm front that's lifting north of the area. This activity should come to an end by noon, and then the sun comes out. The temperatures really boost up, and then you'll definitely feel the heat and the humidity in the afternoon with not much activity going on. Now the front to the west will come through, but probably not start seeing development maybe close to about 6 to 7 p.m. Could be a little bit earlier. You'll start seeing this developing and then pushing southeastward tomorrow night. We'll see how far this goes. There's some indications it may fall apart before it gets too far south, but overall we're going to look at that too. Now the big picture, once we see Wednesday come on Wednesday night, Thursday morning we'll probably have showers and thunderstorms in the morning. morning, but then in the afternoon, it's a lot of question marks exactly how much and where it's going to develop. Some recent trends have indicated that it might not be that wet Thursday with activity further southeast of us, given that the front comes through early in the day. So Thursday definitely we'll see cooler temperatures. Now overnight, that activity might have produced some damaging winds potentially, but it's a low chance with that. Tomorrow there's a better opportunity with that line that pushes from the north to south. That would be north near Eau Claire and further north. Once again, there's an indication that might weaken, so we'll see that. But damaging winds will be the main issue with this, along with heavy rainfall too. It comes with the front. And then Thursday, as I mentioned, it may not be that bad. Right now, the threat really is further south and east. We'll see how much actually development of showers and thunderstorms we get towards the afternoon. But it might not be that bad of a Thursday. More cloud cover maybe, at least in the morning, a little bit more sun in the afternoon. Temperatures tomorrow, there's your 90s. A lot of 90s out there. We'll have cloud cover. You won't really see the 90s until late in the afternoon. And then going into Thursday, we're going to see temperatures once again 70s going into there. And then Thursday, the good news is we cool down a little bit back in the 80s. That's the good news. And then Friday, actually not looking too bad too. We're looking at temperatures overall. Heat and seas tomorrow definitely could be in the 100 to 105. There is a heat advisory out for most of the area into about 8 p.m. We'll have thunderstorms there Thursday, although that doesn't look as impressive. The weekend, for the most part, is going to get another hot, maybe hot and humid day Sunday, and then we have another front with storms coming through. Cooler temps as you look towards that 8 day, towards the end, towards next week, middle of next week. 83, 84.
That looks nice.
That's when it'll start feeling really refreshing.
All right, something.
So we got a little bit of ways to go, but
okay,
definitely take precautions tomorrow. It's going to be hot and humid in the afternoon.
We sure will. Well, you know all about this, Greg. Sometimes you just have to let it out. A group in Chicago with an unorthodox way to let off some steam. Have you ever wanted to just do this? Every Monday, right? Well, Scream Club Chicago meets on the lakefront every weekend where they breathe deeply and collectively scream into open air over Lake Michigan. Manny Hernandez, a breathwork coach, started the group as an outlet to deal with stress, inviting others to join on social media.
This is a good way for us to be able to, in a healthy way, release whatever we have going on inside out into the void.
What's bringing me back out here really is that there are things I'm ready to let go of, that I'm finally have an outlet where I can get it out of my system.
They meet every Sunday and all gatherings are free. A free Sunday Scary Scream Fest makes sense to me. All right, we'll have another look at your forecast right after the break.
All right, heat advisory tomorrow. We're going to see heat and seas 100 to 105, but we have storms in the morning too. Don't forget that. Then we'll have the sun in the afternoon, and then more storms come Wednesday night. And then finally, we'll kind of cool off Thursday and Friday just a little bit.
But hazy, hot, and humid
Definitely
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Get ready. We're going to be perspiring. Thanks for joining us at 5. We'll see you at 6.